Welcome to part one of my acoustics course. I'm John Hunter from John Hunter Acoustics, product architect, CEO, owner, and acoustical consultant for John Hunter Acoustics, where we've treated recording studios in rooms of every shape and size, from small bedrooms to large halls, cathedrals, rehearsal spaces, recording spaces, you name it. We've done just about every shape and size of project you can imagine. So let's get into the panel thicknesses, and this is the sound absorbing material of the panels. So we have 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 6 inch, 8 inch, and 9 inch. Now 1 inch panel is just a high-end absorber, so you just absorb high frequencies. So this is just absorbing echo, purely echo pretty much. Just the high frequencies, they're okay for offices. So you have an office, you can use this for an office. Just a decorative space, or you have very large amount of space, like an auditorium or so forth, and you're just going for echo reduction, you can do that. So, auditorium would be good. And then the 2 inch panel, you're actually absorbing mid frequencies. So these are good for vocal boosts, vocal recording. So mid frequency and high frequency, echo reducers, echo absorbers, vocal recording, office spaces. We use them a lot in office spaces. We treat tons of office spaces with 2 inch panels. So vocal, vocal recording, offices, vocal boosts, and spaces like that. Also large spaces, 2 inch panel can be used auditoriums as well, where you want a little more clarity in the speaking voice, especially because it captures all the speaking voice, singing voice. And then 3 inch panels, these are high, mid, and low mid absorbers. So high, you got mids, low, mid. You gain an advantage with this. You absorb more of the sound frequencies, capturing the voice, and especially in the low voice, you have a real low voice, you're going to absorb more of that with this than with the 2 inch. So high mid, low mid. These are mid frequency, these are high frequency. So high mid, low mid, and mids. So another advantage, like with our panels, we have an open frame where the sound will get absorbed from every different surface. So that starts with the 3 inch panel. Now 4 inch panel, that's where you start off becoming a bass trap. So you absorb high, mid, low frequency. You absorb high, mid, and low frequencies. So, low sound, this is where you have a bass trap. This starts a bass trap as long as the density is correct. Like you need about a 4 pound per cubic foot density, which just means how dense the material is, how heavy it is per cubic foot. So high, mid, and low frequency absorber with the 4 inch. We treat a lot of recording studios with this. So studios, they're great echo absorbers too, because they're actually open frame, just like the 3 inch, they're open frame, but the additional depth provides more absorption. So now you have 6 inch absorbers, which are high, mid, low frequency with extended low frequency versus the 4 inch. So you have extended low frequency. If you have the room for it in a studio, apartment studio, bedroom studio, if you have room for it, go for the 6 inch. The bigger the room, the more the depth is actually going to be helpful and useful. It actually increases how much echo absorption you have, as well as low end absorption, because the bass waves are massive, and having extra depth, extra mass, it actually absorbs more of that sound. So now you have an 8 inch bass trap. 8 inch bass trap is really good for if you're mixing with a sub. You're going to place these in your corners. So, subs, you have high, mid, low, and sub-low sound absorption. So again, mixing with a sub, you're going to place these in your corners. You're usually not going to have them on your walls. If you have a situation where you cannot create an airspace with a 4 inch panel, then you're going to want to do the 8 inch flat on the wall. All right, so that's the 8 inch bass trap. And now the 9 inch is also great for a sub. Now, these are pretty thick. We have a half angle version of both the 8 inch and the 9 inch panels, the 8 inch and the 9 inch bass traps. So we have a half angle, so then you treat like the bottom of a corner with an 8-inch plus a 4-inch on top, and this one is half angled when it's angled into a corner, so it only sticks out 4 inches from the corner, and the 4-inch goes on top. So you do the 4-inch on top of the 8-inch, and that fills up your corners, and they look the same thickness. Now bass builds up more on the bottom of the corner, so that's why we do 8-inch in the bottom. But so 9-inch is sub, you got your high, mid, low, and sub low absorption. So that's important in the difference between all the different thicknesses of panels. Leave us any comments or questions below. Like and subscribe. Let us know what you'd like to know more about, and we can perhaps create another video addressing other questions. So that's part 1 of our acoustics course, so you can gain some understanding on different thicknesses of panels. And we're going to get more into what material, because the material matters a lot, not just the thickness. So follow us, like us, subscribe, let us know any questions, and we'll catch you on the next video.